5'9" with the real red eyes, and we dying inside. Oh, bodies in fluoride.
What is good, y'all? This is JV here, and I'm back with another album review. Really hyped to check this one out. Today we're going over Block B's newest album, Blooming Period. If I'm not mistaken, this is their 5th mini album, and I have a pretty long history with Block B as far as my Korean music listening is concerned. I've been following these guys as long as I've been listening to K-pop. Big fan of them, from the first time I discovered them. I picked up all their album. I was a big fan of Blockbuster and their first two, New Kids on the Block, I believe it's called, mini albums. And I felt like over time I, found myself listening to them less. I was a big fan of those early records. So I have to say, to be quite honest, I was a little apprehensive walking into this mini album. I wasn't really expecting to like it. Their last, few singles would come, very good. And Her was a dope song. Very Good was an okay song in my opinion. It's been really, hit or miss for me as far as their latest releases. So I didn't really know what to expect on this album. So basically the way I go through my albums, I go track by track, give you guys my individual thoughts on each track. And then at the end of the video, I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on the album. So to start off, the first track we have is A Few Years Later. If I'm not mistaken, this is the single that they dropped first along with the music video. And, judging by this track, it's definitely one of their more soft tracks, and I know that from a sound wise, there's a huge departure from where they started. You know what I mean? It has a very contemporary pop kind of feel to it. Some really great electronic production on there. I definitely have to compliment that. And this song was definitely a grower for me. The first time I heard it, I thought it was a little too soft for my taste, and I wasn't really feeling it. But after a few times listening to it, it really grew on me. I really started to appreciate the vocals that were on it. And definitely one of my favorite parts on the track is, I believe the member's name is P.O. if I'm not mistaken. On the second half, comes in with a really aggressive, deep, in your face kind of verse towards the end. Almost, a shouted delivery on that I thought was really dope, and an interesting contrast from the rest of the song that definitely had a more smooth vibe to it. Next song we have is Toy. Definitely, I love this song. One of my favorite Block B songs that I've ever heard, to be quite honest, from a production standpoint, from a vocal standpoint, and the bars on it. I just think it has a really great, melodic structure and overall delivery, from each particular member. And I have to say, on this album, one of the highlights of this album is that there was just fantastic group participation on this one. I have to say, I really got a sense for each member's individual contribution to the group on this particular record. Toy, really dope, man. I really enjoyed the overall melody to it, and that groove to it, that bass line, really strong bass line, and not necessarily in kind of like an 808 kick kind of way, but more just like kind of like a bass guitar and some really dope guitar touches and piano touches on the lower half of the production there. And this is all before the chorus even comes in. Once the chorus comes in and Zico really comes in and really goes at it, this song just really becomes something else. And after a few listens, I've gotten maybe 5 or 6 listens to this song, and not including the times I've watched the music video. Gotta say, one of my favorite Block B tracks ever. And definitely from a musical standpoint and a production standpoint, one of their most ambitious and complex songs yet. So yeah, definitely really liked Toy. It was Love. I think this performed by Taeyil, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually a track that Zico composed and had Luna perform with his last single that he put out, if I'm not mistaken. So it was really interesting to hear, the vocal contrast from the original version to this version, if this is the same song that I'm thinking of. Really enjoyed his vocals on this, especially those, real high notes really reaching into the register on the last half. From a composing standpoint, I've gone into this track before, because I have heard it before. But yeah, he did a great job on this track, and I thought it was a really dope little touch. Throw it in the middle of the record there. It's only a 5-song project. So it was nice to get some, solo member material, and gotta say, it's a really strong performance on this. For Walking in the Rain, the most up-tempo track on this particular project. Really enjoy this. Again, another piece of contemporary pop music. Loved, the overall tempo they chose, and love the pacing of it. It's a real kind of like crazy diversion from It Was Love, which took it down in tempo, took the kind of energy down and brought it to a more emotional kind of place. And then Walking in the Rain definitely brings it in, reins you back in, and takes you on a joyride. The energy shoots up, the production's moving, the drums, are really, really going at it. Love the vocal stylings on this one. Yeah, great melodies on this particular track. Walking in the Rain is definitely one of the tracks I see myself revisiting a lot more. And that brings us to Round and Round with B-Bomb and Yuguan. Really enjoy this track. This track to me is a return to form for Block B. This is the most familiar sounding track out of all 5 of them. This definitely sounds, like first 2 mini albums, even their third mini album kind of sound for Block B. So it was definitely kind of refreshing to hear that again. That sound, I like that it's not a complete diversion from their original sound. We do get a little bit of Round and Round. That kind of hip-hop R&B kind of flavor on this one. Really love the kicks on this. It's a really booming track, and that whole bingle bingle thing that they're doing. Really enjoyed it. Again, this is not necessarily a track that's like reinventing the wheel per se. Nothing that we've never seen before, but again, it's a nice return to form for Block B. So my overall thoughts on the project, gotta say, liked this project. I was apprehensive about it, as I stated earlier, but I gotta say I was impressed by it, man. I think it's a really solid project. Didn't think I was gonna like this. I didn't like the overall direction originally that Block B was going in, but upon more listening, upon watching more of the visuals for it, I'm definitely understanding the particular direction they're going. And I gotta say that they're not really compromising any of their musicianship. The verses are just as strong as they were before. Shout out to Zico, man. He really came through. Yeah, the verses are just as strong. The vocals are better than they've ever been. The production is cleaner, more precise, and more experimental than it's ever been. And I feel like as a project, this is structured better than any of their previous mini albums. To me, as a complete body of work, this is actually a really strong project. And gotta say, man, as someone who preferred the original sound, listening to this project makes me want to revisit their last releases to see maybe if I can get more out of it now that I'm getting to understand what particular direction they're going in now. And definitely wants me to look more into the other members. Originally all I really know is Zico, I know Pio, Yuguan. I know a couple of the members here and there, but I'd like to get more into the group and learn what individually they bring to the ensemble, because I've seen that they got a lot of talented members. And with their early projects, it had some real straightforward poppin' and R&B and hip-hop tunes that were really dope. But I feel like this project highlighted the individual strengths of them from just a musician standpoint. So I'm curious as to what y'all thought about this mini album. In the comment section below, let me know what you thought about the album. What do you think about Block B? What do you think about the songs? What's your favorite song in the album? Mine happens to be Toy, definitely. Curious what you guys think. Till next time, this is JV. I love you guys.